Good morning, welcome to the channel. My name is Beena, and the eagle-eyed amongst you regular viewers will notice that this little fella here isn't Walter. This is a hunter. Walter is in for some diagnostic tests. So we've got a loner, and that loner is the hunter. Oh, with very sharp brakes apparently at the back. Jeez, okay. These are great little bikes. Sound good as well. It is Friday, the 7th of February 2025. It's a very, very warm and pleasant 2 degrees centigrade. I probably wouldn't normally be out. That's really annoying. I probably wouldn't normally be out on the bike this early and in this cold weather. But I had to bring Walter in, so hey ho. But I've come prepared today because I was worrying. I knew that I had to come in today, and I knew what the weather was going to be like, and I was just worrying the whole time that my hands were going to freeze off because I've got to come here. It's about an hour to get to the dealership. Where are we going? I'm going up here. Yeah, it's about an hour to get to the dealership, and obviously an hour back, and I've got to do that twice, so I've got a good 4 hours of riding today. And it being 2 degrees with 30-mile-an-hour winds apparently, I thought, well, that's going to be very unpleasant. Because my winter gloves, if you remember from my last ride, my winter gloves were not really up to the job, even with 2 pairs. So, geez, I cannot see a thing out of there. So I decided to treat myself in the week, and I popped up to Sports Bike Shop and I got myself some Merlin something or others. Thank you. You know, I can never remember the name of things. I'll pop them up on the screen here. Yeah, they're heated gloves. I have 3 heat settings, and the highest one apparently lasts for about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and they are absolutely bloody wonderful. And that was about 10 miles on the motorway at 70 miles an hour, and my hands were absolutely toasty, and that was on the medium setting. By the time I got here, my hands were a little bit cold, but not really noticeable. So I've got them on the highest setting on the way back. God, they're lovely, lovely and toasty. Well worth the 200 quid I had to spend on them. So yeah, Walter's going to be there for a few hours, and I'm going to head back home and have something to eat, and then we'll be back again later and see what's up. I mean, the likelihood is that they won't find anything because it's such an intermittent fault with him. I don't know what he's doing, misfiring, stuttering, random engine light at some point. So yeah, odds are they won't find anything, but at least he'll get plugged into the diagnostic and they can see if there's anything particularly nasty. It looks like it's starting to rain, that's good. So what about the hunter then? Well, I've had one of these before. In fact, I've probably had the same bike before as a loner. I was a bit disappointed. I was kind of hoping that they would have had a 411 Hemi as a loan bike that I could have tried, because as regular viewers will know, I'm thinking of getting one. but they just had hunters, which is a bit of a shame. But I did go and have a good old sit on a few bikes in there to see how they suited. The Bear was nice. That's a really good size for me. It's I think if you're a shorter person, then should you take the long route back? Yeah, why not? Yeah, if you're a shorter person, I think that might you might struggle a little bit, because it is quite a tall seat. I can just flat foot it, and I'm 6'1". Ah, it's so nice to have a gear indicator. So yeah, that was nice. The one thing that's always put me off about the Bear, aside from the price and I can't afford one, is the weight of it. But honestly, it felt really quite light. It holds its weight really low down. I guess that's also helped by the fact that it had an empty fuel tank. But even so, I was pleasantly surprised at how that felt. I also had to sit on the old Hemi again, because I've got a used one there, a very nice black used one. If you're in the market for a used Himalayan and you're in the eastern Warder area of Northamptonshire, up along to Cooperb, it's a very nice example there. Heated grips as well. Personally, I'm after the camo green one, so doesn't appeal, but very nice bike. So yeah, that felt nice again. Apologies if the sound is a bit weird on the mic. It's just that I've got my neck buff up round my face, because Jesus, it was cold on the way up. So yeah, the Bear was nice. Old Hemi was nice, obviously. I had to sit on the shotgun. Again, the weight of that, the feel of it belies the actual weight figures. It doesn't feel too bad again. Didn't do it for me though. Not my kind of thing. Nice looking bike though. What else did I have to sit on? The Gorilla. So light, incredibly light compared to others. I mean, it feels like this Hunter, because this is an extremely light bike in comparison to the to Walter. Yeah, it felt quite nice. Quite a nice riding position. I mean, they're all quite upright riding positions, aren't they? So all fairly similar, I guess. Yeah, I'd like to have a go on one of those, I think. What else did we ever sit on? That was about it, wasn't it? I didn't bother on the new Hemis because they're all up on the centre stands. I didn't really want to bugger about with them. My dodgy elbow. So that's those, and then there's this. Come on, Mr. Crow, don't land on the road there. Get in the way. The Hunter, yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it before. These are great. Great fun, these bikes. So light, so nimble. Really chuckable. They feel a lot peppier than the Bullet and I guess the classic 350 as well. You know, they don't have that 70 mile an hour restriction. I've seen an indicated 85 on the Speedo whilst going downhill on the dual carriageway. The last time I borrowed one of these, and they certainly get there a lot quicker than the Bullet does. And you'd expect that really with the lighter weight of them. So yeah, they're really good fun. I'm not a huge fan of the slightly rearward facing foot pegs. Because, you know, I'm getting old. I don't like to be forward canted, but it's not aggressive. It's not like a sports bike, so it's not too bad. But it's not as comfortable, obviously, as the Bullet on a longer journey. In fact, the one thing that struck me about a lot of the models that I sat on, aside from the Himalayan, was just how uncomfortable the seats are. Like bloody planks of wood. And, you know, I guess they would they'd loosen up a bit over time. Sorry for the sniffing, it's so cold. Yeah, I guess they would loosen up a bit over time, but geez, even so, I mean, the bullet seat was pretty much comfortable from the off. This has a really grabby back brake. So yeah, I think if I was to get what it is, this really does sound good. If I was to have an Interceptor or a Bear or a shotgun, I think I'd definitely have to get a better seat for it. Shockingly hard. This one's not too bad. It's a bit hard, but it's ergonomically it's okay. This would make a fabulous commuting bike. Really would. It's so light and small. Could you come out there? Thank you very much. Yeah, so light and small. It'd be great for checking around in traffic. I think they look quite cool as well. I'm not a fan of this grey colour scheme. I like the blue and white, or the red and white ones. What they call it, the Redl ones, I think. Yeah, they're pretty cool. So, what else has been going on in the world of Beena and Walter over the last week? Well, not a lot with Walter. It's too cold to go out really, and foggy and icy. I managed to book an appointment, book a slot for my elbow operation. That's going to be on the 24th of March. So we've got a few more rides yet, a few more videos before that happens. And then the consultant who I saw on Monday, when I said to him how quickly can I expect to be back on the bike, he said 6 weeks, which was a very pleasant surprise. So all going well, that's what I'm going to aim for. I don't want to rush it and bugger it up, but if I can be back on in 6 weeks, that would be fantastic. So that'll take us to the beginning of May. So that's a goal to aim for. Right, well, I'm stuck in traffic here, so I think I'll leave you here, and we'll come back later on. We'll see. We'll do a little bit more of the ride, and then we'll find out what's up with Walter. So I'll catch you later. Bye. Well, I'm back again, and the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that it's a different day. It's about a week later. It is, in fact, exactly a week later. I abandoned filming for last weekend. It was just, the weather was atrocious, and I must admit I was not having fun riding. And I wasn't in a particularly good mood for reasons which I'll expand on in a moment. So yeah, I knocked the filming on the head and just decided to pick it up another day. And so here we are. And what a day, look at it, the sun has actually come out. What? It's been, oh god, I can't even think of how long it's been since the sun has actually come out from behind the clouds. It's got to be a month. I mean, it may vary where you are living in the UK, but where I am, it's been a long time. It's been really grey, drizzly, damp, cold, windy, all of the usual stuff you'd expect for winter in the UK. And today, just sort of midday-ish, the sun decided to poke out, which is very nice. It is still cold. Let's not be under any misapprehensions about the temperature. It's still only 4 degrees, but don't know, it just always feels a bit warmer, doesn't it, when the sun's out. Let us pause for the tunnel of noise. Oh, lovely. Yeah, it is cold, but you know, we're wrapped up. I've got my lovely heated gloves on, which are doing an absolutely fabulous job. I did try and remember the name of them before I came out. Merlin Minwell 2s, I believe, Minwells. I'll put it up on the screen if that's not right. But yeah, they're doing a great job. They're lovely and toasty. A pretty decent amount of feel as well for such a bulky glove. Worth the 200 quid if you're thinking about a pair. Although, I have to say, this morning I went out, I just popped up to the shops this morning and put them on. It was 1 degree, but it is dry, so no frost about, because it has been extremely damp and frosty. Oh, that house is beautiful. So you can't see that, it was over there. Yeah, I went out this morning and put them on. I put them on full power because I've got 3 heat settings. I've got a low, medium and a high. And the high is supposed to last about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And I put them on the high setting and they were roasty, toasty, hot, lovely. And I got to the shops, it took me about 10 minutes. And when I got there and took the gloves off to power them off, they were on the medium setting. And then I put them back on again after being at the shops and went up for a little ride for 45 minutes on high again, and came back and they're on medium. So I don't know whether they've got some sort of thermostat which turns them off and they come on again at some point. I do not know. I'll have to look into this because the instruction manual that came with them was non-existent. So it was very sparse. Well, it comes with a double charging USB cable thing with a light on it, a red light on it. And it doesn't say what the light means, whether it's supposed to turn a different colour. And apparently it is. It's supposed to turn green when it's charged. And I had it in a low, wrong side charger, I'm guessing, the first time, and it just never went to green. And I tried a different one, and lo and behold, after an hour or so, it did. So yeah, not particularly good instructions, Merlin. You need to sort that shit out. But yeah, otherwise I am very happy with them. And I was very grateful of them last weekend when I was taking Walter here to the bike doctor to see what was wrong with him. Turns out nothing. They couldn't find anything wrong with him. He went on the diagnostics. There was one previous fault which they cleared, which they didn't tell me what it was. Should we go down there? Yeah. And they took him out for a couple of rides, and he didn't do his stuttering, misfiring thing again. So, you know, it's difficult to diagnose something when it's intermittent, isn't it? It could have just been a one-off. More than likely was. Better to be safe than sorry and all that. Although I did notice this morning when I got on him, there was a little patch of oil just directly under the engine, just by the kickstand, and a very slight trail of oil up to that across my garage floor. I don't know what that's about. Wondering whether it's like a breather tube or something. I'll probably put a picture in here. I took a picture of it. Oh, kite! But yeah, I don't know whether that's cause for concern now. We'll see. But yeah, like I say, I couldn't be doing with video in that ride back to the dealership and then back home again, because by the time I rode back to the dealership, it was really, really gloomy. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was pissing it down with rain. It was 3 degrees. It was miserable, to be honest, and 30-mile-an-hour winds. So I was not having the time of my life riding there for an hour there and an hour back. Compounded by the fact that they also shut 2 major roads, including the diversion road, which they sent me down, with no explanation as to how I was to get there. That didn't improve my mood. And then about 15-20 minutes before I got there, I was on negotiating a little roundabout, and some very kind, presumably lorry driver, had overfilled his lorry with diesel and left a lovely big slick rainbow trail of diesel on the road and on the roundabout, and I nearly lost the front end of the Hunter, completely washed out. Thankfully saved it and it didn't go down, but that gave me a little bit of a rant as well. So by the time I got back to Cooperb dealership, I was not in the best of moods, and that was compounded by the fact by the phone conversation I'd had with them prior to setting off. Now, I don't like to be a moany, miserable bugger. I don't want the channel to be one of those ranty, annoying channels, because we're here for fun and for a bit of mindfulness. But I really detest poor customer service, and I really hate people who are untruthful, and I had both of those things with Cooperb last weekend. I'll just briefly go over it. I don't want to make a big deal out of this, mainly because it would just really piss me off again. But yeah, I took Walter here in on the last Friday, to get him looked at, get him put on the diagnostic machine, get him see if they could find out what was wrong. And I booked that up a week prior and arranged a time to come in. They told me to come in at between 9 and half 9 in the morning on the Friday. So I did that, got there about 9:15, and it was fucking freezing. It was about 1 degree at this point. I probably wouldn't have gone out normally. Actually, my gloves have just got hot again. I think they do it there on the thermostat. I wouldn't have gone out normally on the bike, but I really wanted to get it looked at, and I booked it in, so you know, I didn't want to let them down by cancelling the appointment. So I rode over there. It took me an hour. I was very, very cold when I got there. Left it with them, and they said, okay, we'll have a look and we'll let you know. Sent me off home with the loaner bike. It came to about 2 in the afternoon. I hadn't heard anything back, so I gave them a call. It's probably a bit later than that, actually, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I hadn't heard, so I gave them a call. I was thinking, you know, it's going to get dark soon. You stay over there, Mr. Pheasant. Stupidest birds in the world when it comes to road sense. Yeah, so about 3 in the afternoon, give them a call, and they said, oh well, we've taken it out and it hasn't done it, so we're going to take it out again tomorrow morning when it's cold. And I thought, cold? It's 1 degree now, how cold do you need it? You know, I took it in at 9 o'clock in the morning almost. You've had it a good few hours. I didn't say any of this, by the way, I was just thinking this to myself. Had it a good few hours. Surely you can let it cool down and try it again. You know, I've booked it in. I've taken time off work to come and do this, hoping it was going to be done in a day. So they said, yeah, we're going to try it in the morning. So is that okay? You come back tomorrow. I wasn't entirely happy about that, because I knew that the Saturday was going to be pretty bad weather and just as cold. Well, I thought, you know, what can I do? I've already done the trip. I don't want to. Already done 2 hours of riding. I don't want to do that for nothing. So I said, okay, yeah, you can look at it in the first thing in the morning. Yes, they said. So next day comes Saturday. I ran about 11 AM, 11:30 I think it was. Hadn't heard anything. So I gave them a call. So like, just wondering what's going on with my Bullet. You were going to take it out for a ride. And it was the sales guy. I think it was the owner, actually. And he said, where should we go? Should we go down here? Yeah, it was the owner, and he said, oh, I don't really know. I need to get the after sales department to give you a call back to see what's going on. And he's just on the phone, so he'll call you straight back. I was like, okay. So 2 hours later, when he hadn't called me straight back, I phoned again and said, you know, I just want to know what's going on with the bike. And he said, oh, we haven't had a chance to take it out yet, because we've had a lot of customers here with their bikes having walk-in services, and we can't just let them wait. Some of them have ridden for 2 hours to get here. And at that point I was quite pissed off. So I was like, okay, well, I booked it in a week ago. I would have done a 4-hour round trip for this. You're basically saying that I'm not as valuable as those other customers. He thought, well, you know, we can't leave them here, we can't just ask them to wait. You know, it just has to get done when it gets done. And so I was really pissed off at this. I didn't want to cause a fuss because I'm not the sort of person that creates a scene or gets angry with people in these kind of positions, because you know, ultimately it's pointless, isn't it? And people are generally just doing their job. But I was pretty miffed about this. So I said, look, he said, oh, what do you want to do? I said, well, you know, I can't do without the bike another day. I'll come and get it. And he was like, oh, okay, whatever. So I was like fuming, absolutely fuming. Had a good old rant to my wife about it and set off. And was angry pretty much the entire hour and a bit that I rode to the dealership. And I got there and I was, like I say, I was pretty seething at this point. I thought I'd just take the bike. But the anger got the better of me a little bit, and he said, oh, you know, what are you here for? I said, I've come to pick up my bullet that nothing's been done on, apparently. Because at this point they hadn't told me that they'd done any other work on it. He literally just said to me on the phone, oh, we've taken it out and couldn't find anything wrong, so we're going to do it again. So as far as I'm concerned, that's all they've done. They took it out for a ride, and I was a little sceptical of that, if I'm honest. Seeing as how, you know, the second day they hadn't found the time to do it, I'm thinking that's probably the same on the first day. But anyway, I didn't voice that opinion. So I just said, yeah, I've come for the bullet and nothing's been done. At this point I got very defensive and was, oh, hang on, there's been lots done to it, and then reeled off the fact that they'd done an hour's diagnostic and had up on the ramp and done this and done that. And I said, well, you should have told me this, rather than just saying you haven't done anything, you've just taken it out and you haven't had time to do anything else. And this is when, I think it's the son of the owner actually who works in the after sales, and he started saying, oh no, I did, I told you I did this, I told you I did that, and he absolutely categorically didn't. And I know this to be a fact because of my autism, I record my phone calls with a little device I have, a little recorder, which transcribes it into any conversations I have into with AI. It transcribes the conversations and gives me a summary of it. And before I went, I had a look to see what it actually said. So I knew that what he'd told me then. Oh, I'm not going to get on there if it's busy. I knew that what he told me there was a lie. So I said, look, that's not the case. You didn't tell me that. You just said it had been out for a ride and then you can do it again. And I said, and he said, oh, we had other customers. He repeated the line about how he had other customers and can't make them wait. And I said, look, you're basically saying that my time isn't as valuable. I'm not as valuable as a customer as these other people. And then the dad chipped in and said, well, some of these book weeks in advance. I said, well, I booked a week in advance. And it's a 4-hour round trip for me. How is this not inconveniencing for me? You know, I took a day off work to do this. And they weren't really having it. I mean, the dad did try and placate me. I was pretty angry at this point, but and I said, look, just give me the bike, I'm going home with it. And the dad said, you know, we never want our customers to feel like this. And oh, the kite is very low. You know, never want our customers to feel like they've had that kind of service, but they were still kind of pushing the fact that they had other customers there and that they're their priority. And I kind of get it in a way, but you know, I'm also a customer. So I just took my bike and I went, and I was not best pleased. Now, I appreciate that some people are going to think, oh, I caused a bit of a scene over nothing really, and I should appreciate that I'd have to wait to get my bike looked at. I don't necessarily agree. I think if I booked it in advance and they've had it 2 days, I should have looked at it. They said when I got there that they'd took it out for another ride, and I felt the engine and it was warm, so they had done that. But I think that was only as a response of me. Well, it clearly was only a response of me phoning up and being annoyed on the phone. And I don't know whether that was the only time they'd done that. Who knows? But I wouldn't have been as annoyed if it wasn't for the fact that that wasn't my first poor experience with Cooperb. The first one I had was when I actually bought Walter. I went and bought him and I was told that it would take 3 weeks for him to be delivered because it was a, you know, it's a new order, and that they would get in contact with me. They gave me a date. They said we're going to aim for this date 3 weeks in advance. Usually it takes about 2 weeks, and then that gives us a chance to do all the PDI stuff and whatnot. So we'll give you a call a few days before this date to confirm it. And a few days before the date came, and nobody called me, so I had to call them up and ask whether everything was going to be okay for the Friday. And I booked a day off work, and I booked a few days off work after that so that I could go out and enjoy the bike. I was very excited about it. And when I called, someone who wasn't familiar with the order, it was very cagey about it, so I don't know, I'll have to get someone to phone you back. I've not seen anything on the system. And then I got called back by, again, I don't know if it was the owner or his son, one of the two, and they basically hadn't put the order in for it, so I had to wait another 3 weeks for the bike. So that kind of sullied my initial impression of them as a dealership. But I thought, you know, these things happen, I guess, so just let it go. But now I've had 2 experiences with that, I don't think I'll go back there, to be honest. I think I'll go to A&M Motorcycles in Letchworth. I mean, it's closer to me. The ride's not quite as nice. They don't have as much stock, but you know, they might actually treat me like a better customer. And I'm sure lots of people, no doubt lots of people have had very good experiences with Cooperb. I know in the comments people have mentioned that Cooperb's good. They've had good experiences with them. And this is probably an outlier, but you know, twice bitten and all that for me, I don't think I'll bother anymore. So yeah, so that's why I didn't do a video last week, because I was so fucking angry. It would have been an even bigger rant than you've just had there when I said I'll do this quickly. So yeah, because I pretty much ranted in my helmet the entire way home, and God, it was so miserable. The weather was bloody awful. Not a fun day. That was one of my worst riding days ever. But never mind, we're making it for it today. It's a lovely day. I have no idea where we're going. I've just been waffling so much that I've just come down this road without a care in the world. Yeah, I'm just trying to get as many rides as I can in now because, as you know, if you're a regular viewer, I am off to have elbow surgery at the end of March, so and I'm going to be out of action for a few weeks, 6 to 8 weeks probably. So come on, mate, you go. So yeah, I want to make sure that I get out and about. So the positive thing about going to Cooper was I did get to ride a different bike for a while, the little Hunter, and it is a great bike. It's such a good fun bike. It's a shame that the weather was so atrocious and cold, because it really eggs you on to ride in quite a spirited manner, which I did to the conditions. That wasn't why I nearly lost the front end, by the way, on the roundabout. That I was tiptoeing around there because I could see the big lake of diesel that was there. But no, that is a really good little bike. Speaking of Royal Enfield, so I saw, I'm sure that many of you will be aware of Mark Pulling, who does bike reviews, guy based down in Poole in Dorset in the UK, does excellent bike reviews. He did one of the classic 650 the other day, and I have to say, after initially thinking I'm not a fan, it looked quite cool in that sort of boiled sweet colour scheme. I thought, yeah, interested to have a look at one of those in the flesh, because I actually have really kind of changed my tune a little bit on the Royal Enfield range after seeing them in real life. Excuse me. After looking in pictures and not thinking much of some of them, particularly the Himalayan, the Gorilla, just didn't like the look of those at all in pictures, but in the flesh they're actually quite cool. So yeah, I might change my tune on this. Sorry, I was floundering a little bit there. I was thinking, where the fuck am I? Yeah, I might change my tune a little bit on the 650 as well. Who knows? It's a dangerous game though, suddenly liking other models, especially when they're bigger engine, because I do love Walter dearly. Where that goes? No, let's not go there. I think it's probably this thing. I do love Walter dearly, but it would be nice to have a little bit more oomph. I was thinking that last weekend when I was riding to and from the dealers. I did a bit of motorway for some of it, and although it did 70 perfectly well, perfectly fine, they definitely haven't stolen that. Yeah, although he did 70 perfectly fine, it wasn't fun. They don't look like dodgy characters at all. Yeah, it is tempting, isn't it, to think of a 650. Give that nice bit of extra oomph to do motorways and longer riding. But then I love the characterful nature of this single. So yeah, I think it'd have to be a second bike, but if I'm getting a second bike, it's going to be a Himalayan. Right, I think I've done enough rambling on this one. Sorry it was a bit ranty. Kind of had to get that off my chest. And explain why I didn't do a video last week, and I know that some of you would have wanted an update on Walter to see if we knew what was wrong with him. Well, we don't. But hopefully just a blip. But yeah, I will probably do another video tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to release another video. I'll do one a week. I'll film another one tomorrow anyway. Also, the weather's still nice. Although next weekend I looked and it looks like it's going to be 14 degrees. What the shit? That's basically summer. I'll have to get my Merlin Shenstone perforated summer riding jacket out and freeze to death. Oh yeah, anyway, there we go. Another one done. I will see you again next week. If you're out and about on your bike, as always, take care, keep the shiny side up. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!